Good evening, friends. In this video, we are going to discuss about capital and operating cost of different power plants. That we will be discussing in detail. What are the costs involved in electricity generation? General cost incurred for installing and operating the power plant. So, in the coming slides, we'll give you the more idea about the cost involved in electrical energy generation. So, if you look at this graph, this chart, the cost of electrical energy divides into four categories: fixed cost, operating cost, customer charges, and investors' profit. As you know, the fixed cost, it is the capital cost of the power plant, that is the cost of land, cost of building, equipment cost, installation cost, and designing and planning cost. This will come under capital cost of power plant, part of fixed cost. Another part of fixed cost is capital cost of primary distribution. That is, we have to install substations at various places and transmission lines to take the current from one place to another place. Distribution. This is second part of the fixed cost. Third part of the fixed cost is interest, tax, insurance, general management, and depreciation cost. All the three costs will be added and will be classified as fixed cost. Capital cost of power plant, capital cost of primary distribution, and other capital costs like interest, tax, insurance, depreciation, etc. This is about fixed cost. Next cost involved in electrical energy is operating cost. Here the fuel cost will be considered, labor cost, and material cost, that is grease, chemical, water, oil, etc. In day-to-day life, day-to-day operation, for maintenance of the plant, we need this operating cost, that is fuel cost, labor cost, material cost. This will be classified as operating cost. This is second major classification of cost. Third cost is customer charges. Capital cost of secondary distribution, cost of inspection and maintenance, cost of publicity, office staff for meter reading. Those are directly related with customers. Last one is investors' profit. If they are selling the shares, the customers or investors will buy the share and the profit. So all those four major divisions like fixed, operating, customer, and investors' profit put together will come as cost of electrical energy. See, the different methods used to calculate the depreciation cost of a power plant. So this is part of fixed cost. The building cost, land cost, equipment cost, installation cost, design and planning cost all can be easily calculated, part of the fixed cost. Similarly, cost of substation and cost of transmission lines also can be calculated. Whereas other capital cost, that is a depreciation cost, we have to find some mathematical methods to find the depreciation cost. See, if you are purchasing the equipment, the value of the equipment will be decreasing year by year. That is called a depreciation. So that can be calculated by three different methods, namely straight line method, sinking fund method, diminishing value method. The straight line method will give you the depreciation amount per year, how much amount will be depreciated per year. that can be calculated by using straight line method. So if you look at the graph, life in years along x-axis and cost is given in y-axis. The straight line, look at the graph, the salvage value and total depreciation. Salvage value is scrap value. After 10 years, the machinery will become scrap. The lowest cost alone will be available for that material. The worth of the material will be very low. That like a scrap cost. So the 10 years life, the entire cost has to be divided and it will be called as a depreciation cost. If you look at the formula, annual depreciation amount A equal to C capital C minus S by N, where A is the depreciation amount per year, C is the initial investment or capital cost, S is the salvage value at the end of the plant value, or 10 years or 50 years, 20 years likewise. And N equal life of a plant or rate of interest. So by using this formula, we can easily calculate the depreciation cost per annum, that is per year. This is the second method called sinking fund method. Sinking fund method is a method of calculating depreciation for an asset in which, apart from calculating depreciation, it also keeps aside a fund for replacing the asset at the end of its useful life. If the asset worth is 20 years, it is a costly equipment, costly machinery. So at the end of the 20th year, we have to purchase the new equipment to replace this old equipment. That time, the huge amount may not be collected. So what they are doing is they are collecting the money and they will deposit in shares or other things and they will earn the interest, and along with the depreciation cost it will be deposited, and at the 20th year all the amount will be spent for purchasing the new equipment to replace this equipment. That's why it is called as a sinking fund method. You can look at the formula, that is annual depreciation equal to C minus S into R by 1 plus R power n minus 1. There's a more or less the curve is here curve, whereas the previous straight line method it is a straight line. So the amount agreed with the compound interest over the life of the equipment will be utilized for purchasing the new machine. That's the point we have to understand in sinking fund method. The whatever amount we are spending, that will be utilized. That is a depreciation amount, as well as we are putting the share, that amount will be sold in the share market. That interest, that amount all will be taken into account and will be spent for purchasing new machine to replace this old machine. So we have to maintain a fund for purchasing new machine, that is called sinking fund method. Third method is a diminishing value method. The amount is set aside per year decreases, the life of the plant increases. This is also called a reducing balance method. If you look at the formula, the fixed percentage taken to calculate the annual depreciation, X equal to 1 minus small s by capital C power whole power 1 by n. That is salvage value by capital cost to the power of 1 by n, number of n equal to number of years. The plant goes on decreasing as its existence continues. It is obvious that the plant life, when the period increases, the plant value will be decreased. So considering those points, we are calculating the diminishing value method, calculating this percentage taken by using the formula x equal to 1 minus s by c power 1 by n. Operating cost, that is second part of this cost, is operating cost. The fixed cost is the major cost. Second one is operating cost. The operating cost for power plants include fuel, labor, and maintenance cost. Unlike capital costs, which are fixed, don't vary with the level of output. That's why it is called as fixed cost. A plant's total operating cost depends on how much electricity the plant produces. The operating cost required to produce each megawatt hour of electric energy is referred as the marginal cost. This graph will give more information that look at this graph. Along the x-axis we have operational flexibility, along y we have operating cost. So here they have given all the power plants: coal-based power plant, nuclear power plant, coal gas turbine, combined cycle gas turbine, and simple cycle turbine, that is gas and oil, and hydroelectric. If you look at the graph, operation flexibility and operating cost, more flexibility with the less operating cost is hydroelectric power plant. Whereas the gas turbine, oil are flexible, but the operating cost is more. Nuclear and coal, they are less flexibility, at the same time lower operating costs. So this is the thing we have to understand when we are discussing about capital cost, operating cost, etc. for power generation. Thank you for watching this video.